How's it going, guys? So let's break down that sequence right there. I really like that one. It's just a very smooth sequence to throw into your game, and it's got some nice footwork to it, and just an overall good one to add to my list here of breakdowns. And if you stick around a little bit later into the video, we'll get into some cool stuff that you can go into from there. So let's get right into it first with a brief overview of the technique, the sequence. Cast out to the lead side. I like to do that with an elbow shot. Temporarily spin the slack. In the anchor hand, do a jumping neck spin. Wrap the wrist, wrap the elbow, shoot back in a back step, chabu stance. So let's break that down into some more detail. Some parts are self-explanatory and some parts are a little bit tricky. So for one, right off the bat, I'm going to leave out the jumping neck spin until a little bit later in the video and just focus on the wrist to elbow thing we got going on. So let's get into that. I'm going to start the drill normally. As I cast out, I am controlling a normal amount of spinning slack temporarily with the anchor hand. My lead hand is just holding the extra slack here in my thumb. I'm just going to do a regular neck turn with just a single step with my lead leg. So good to just start with that. Let's do it this way. Regular neck turn. Stick my wrist out and just let it do that. So that'll be the first part of the drill, first part of the sequence to get down. So we cast out. As it comes back, just a little additional detail here, just let this guy go and it'll naturally just stay on the thumb. Once again, just allow for a natural spinning amount of slack here that you would normally spin on a wall plane, meaning in front of our body. Single neck turn with just one step. Let this slack go and let it just drape over the wrist naturally, like so. So let's do that one more time this way. So let that slack go. As soon as it starts to come back down onto your wrist after the neck turn, then you can let that slack go. So we're here. Cast out. Regular neck turn. I've simultaneously let this go and allowed that to drape over my wrist. Now, from here, it's going to be continuing to wrap, right? Well, what I want to do from here is as it starts to wrap, before it completes a full wrap, right at the correct time, I want to step my anchor leg back and be facing this way. So here is what that looks like. So go ahead and slow-mo that for you. And we'll do it facing this way. So, once we've gotten to this point here, all that's left to do is for it to go right off the wrist and perch it on the elbow, ready for a shot. So that's the key here, is that we're not grabbing the rope at any point here in this part of the sequence. We're wrapping the wrist and going straight into the elbow shot with no grabbing. So this is what they call contact in the flow world, meaning no hands and all other parts of the body. So in this part of the sequence, we're kind of going full contact here. So one more time. And then we're here, straight off the wrist, straight onto the elbow. Which brings me to a drill that you can do that will help really get a lot of reps in with that concept just by itself. and get it down a little bit better. So I'm going to do that drill, and then I'm going to slow motion it. So as you can see, watch that as many times as you need to just to see what's really going on. I don't have to do a full shot or anything. I can just go seamlessly right in to the next rep, and just till you sort of really get that wrist to elbow thing down. I think that'll be a useful drill. Once you can do that, all that we have to throw in is our jumping neck spin, which is a regular neck spin with an additional, what's called a barrel roll, actually. And this is a pretty universal Kung Fu movement. I won't get too into detail just here, but what I will do is I'll find a good tutorial for it and I'll leave it in the description if you need more help with it. But just for fun, to show that it is fairly universal, it's we got a staff here, so it's done with guandao and a lot of other weapons as well. Same sort of concept. So we're here, same exact sort of concept. And of course I can sequence it, go right off pins. So it's a universal concept, and it's pretty intuitive. Like, once you kind of get a feel for it, once you're in a position here and you just, after you step, get used to that little leap. It's nothing, it looks a lot harder than it really is. So once you get that and combine that with a regular neck turn with the rope dart, you'll be golden. So that's worth drilling if it's not already too second nature for you, just to do that. Get that down. Just by itself, I don't even have to do that setup. I just, of course, do a regular neck turn without controlling the slack in the anchor hand. So yeah, if it helps, you should drill that by itself until you've combined your neck turn and your barrel roll. That's it. Now at this point, all that's left to do is throw it all together. So starting from here, get that wall plane spin from the anchor hand, jumping neck spin, wrist, take a step back with the anchor leg and allow it to unwrap, get on that elbow, shoot it back, just like that. So I'll slow-mo the whole thing one more time and face this way, and any details you have left to kind of look at, check it out. And there you have it. Have fun with this one. Again, it's got some good footwork. It's very just a smooth feeling sequence to throw in your game. And so here we are in the bonus content. My analytics usually tell me that by this point in my videos, virtually nobody's watching, if anyone at all. So if you are here, I'll try to make it worth your while. Assuming that you've got that part down, then we can go into some other pretty interesting stuff here. So, for one, wrist play is the beginning of contact, meaning body control and little to no hand control, no grabbing, right? So, these wrist spins are actually kind of versatile. We can do a lot there. And I'll show a couple of things that I like to do from this very sequence. First, I'm going to actually show you a punching shot, something I've never seen before. So let's do the sequence with an actual punch release. So let's get into that a little bit, huh? So from the wrist here, when I do a wrist spin, I can either go up my arm or down my arm. And I won't go too crazy in details here because it's just bonus content, but I could even do this from right here. It's simply draped over my wrist from inside to outside. A good way to understand this concept is it's basically just a wrist shot. So you see how it's twined around my goosenecked wrist? Like I'm literally using my bent wrist the same way as we use any other joint, right? I'm just allowing it to twine here and I'm shooting it just like we would any other shot. So here, gooseneck my wrist and launch it out. Now, once you can do that, just close your fist. You don't have to bend your wrist so much, but just close your fist. For this punching technique, your fist is in a vertical orientation like this, so like a Wing Chun type punch. We're gonna wrap just the same way. As you can see, not my greatest showing there, but it's wrapped around my knuckle basically. And now I just punch out and release it. So I'll do the whole sequence this way. Check it out in slow motion. You can see what that looks like. So that's one thing I like to do. I've never even seen the wrist shot, let alone a punching shot. So unless it has been done before and I just don't know it, I guess I invented a punching technique for the rope dart and meteor hammer. So one other thing I like to do is I can go into sunrise from here very easily. Instead of wrapping my elbow, it's going to be the same sort of motion, but I'm just going to take my wrist out of the equation and simply allow it to wrap straight around my bicep and just withhold this bit of slack here because we don't need all the slack for a sunrise here. So here's what I mean by that. So very seamlessly, we can go right into that. And all I'm doing, if you see, is just taking my wrist out from under the rope and allowing it to wrap here instead of just on my elbow. And that's it. Now we can just go into a sunrise. And I like to exit it like this. I've done a tutorial a couple of years ago on that particular shot, the jumping back shot. Check that out if you like it. It's a really cool move, one of my favorites. I don't want to do it too extravagantly. I'd probably go off camera. But yeah, so if you're interested in that, check it out. It's just such a clean way to exit sunrise. So yeah, we can go wrist punch shots. We can go sunrise. And those are the two main options that I like to go into from there. So let's do the full sequence with a sunrise and a jumping release, and that'll be where I digress. So as you can see, turns into quite the good little sequence. So just as an example of what I always say, please take it, make it your own, add your own flow to it, and that's it. Have fun with it. Hopefully that was enjoyable to watch. If anybody actually made it this far, thank you so much. You're awesome. Hope I managed to keep you entertained, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.